Lestat here. Hope you guys are doing well. Today we're going to be profiling my vampire deck. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. As always, I enjoy interacting with you, and please consider subscribing for more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh content. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. First, we're playing triple copies of Vampire Ghost. This allows you to send either your familiar or retainer to graveyard, and it also allows you to add your Vampire Grace to hand. That way you could pitch Vampire Grace from your hand to the graveyard in order to revive your familiar or retainer. Speaking of which, we are playing triple copies of Vampire Retainer. When this card's in the graveyard, you're able to send a vampire card from your field or hand to revive it. And then whenever it's special summoned, you can pay 500 life points to search a vampire spell or trap. Ideally, you want to search for the counter trap, but in some instances, if you don't draw into the domain, you might want to search the domain because that will allow you to get an additional normal summon. We are playing triple copies of Vampire Familiar. Similar effect to Retainer, except that it searches monsters. Keep in mind, whenever you revive your Retainer Familiar and they leave the field, they are banished. Getting into the big vampires, we are playing one Shadow Vampire. Whenever this card is tribute summoned, you're able to special summon your Scarlet Scourge from your deck, and then whenever this is special summoned, you can pay 1,000 life points to revive a vampire. Also, whenever this card is summoned, you can activate Vampire Grace's effect in Grave by paying 2,000 to revive it. And then this will allow for your Beatrice plays by overlaying this and this. And last but not least, for the big vampires, we are playing one Vampire Voidvoad. This card enables you to steal your opponent's monsters. This opens up Exceeds plays, Link plays. Getting into the alternative starter, we are playing triple copies of Unizombie. In the event that we don't open Ghost, we do have Unizombie to fill our graveyard with Familiar or Retainer. And also this does open up Synchro plays like Barone. We're playing one Gloat Blue. We are playing a Zombie World version of this deck. So whenever Zombie World's on the field and this is sent to the graveyard, we can special summon one of our vampires from our deck. We're playing one Necroworld Banshee. We're going to be sending this off of Beatrice. That way we can activate Zombie World from our deck. And then we're playing one Doom King. This will be sent to the graveyard during our opponent's standby phase. And because Zombie World's on the field and it's the standby phase, you'll be able to revive it. And this will give you access to remove your opponent's cards or negate their effects. Getting into the spells, we are playing Triple Pot of Prosperity. I opted to play this because we do need to dig into our deck to get to certain combo pieces like our Vampire Ghost. Ideally, we want to open with Vampire Ghost at all times, and Prosperity helps us dig into our deck. That way we can get our combos going. We're playing triple copies of Super Polymerization. This card is essentially a board breaker. This is a fusion heavy format, and the upcoming formats will be fusion heavy as well due to all the new support being released for different archetypes. We're playing triple copies of Vampire Domain. This grants us additional normal summons. That way, again, get our combos going. We are playing one copy of Vampire Desire, one Foolish Burial. These are just here to help get our Retainer Familiar into graveyard. Vampire Desire does have a Monster Reborn effect for vampires, but that isn't going to come up too often. We're mainly going to be using it for the Foolish Burial effect. We're playing two copies of Zombie World. Again, this is a Zombie World version of the deck. This is just to lock our opponent and then allow us to swarm and take advantage. And then we're playing one Call by the Grave to counter hand traps. We are playing Triple Rivalry of the Warlords. Again, this is a Zombie World deck, so all of our opponent's monsters will be treated as zombies, so this will lock them into what they have on field, and will allow us to capitalize on it. We are playing triple copies of Ice Dragon's Prison. Again, bringing back monsters and then banishing monsters of the same type isn't going to be an issue with this deck, because, again, a Zombie World. And last but not least, we play one Vampire Domination as a Vampire Solemn Judgment. Getting into the extra deck, we are playing one Nether Soul Dragon, one Garua, one Mud Dragon of the Swamp, and one Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. These are just generic Super Poly targets. If you don't like these, you could switch it up, but these are just generic Super Poly targets that I feel are best for this deck. Getting into the other extra deck monsters, we're playing one Baron de Fleur. We're only playing one Synchro monster because of Unizombie. Unizombie is our only tuner, which is fine because we're going to be primarily Exceeds and Link summoning. But Barone is here just in case that opportunity comes up to go into this and we're able to pop our opponent's cards, negate their effects. And another neat thing is that during the standby phase, we can return us to the extra deck, bring back our Scarlet Scourge. Scourge's effect, you can pay 1,000 to revive another zombie. And then if Grace is in graveyard, you can bring back Grace. So this just enables more combos. We're playing one Beatrice to enable Zombie World plays. I will be showing a combo, that way this makes sense. We're playing one Vampire Sheridan. If we happen to use an opponent's monster as an Xyz material, we can treat it as level 6, and we're able to steal our opponent's monsters. We're playing one Zombie Vampire. This card is the MVP of the deck, in my opinion, especially during the grind game. Very similar to Sheridan, you're able to treat one of your opponent's monsters as a level 8 to go into this, and also you can detach a material to excavate 4 cards from both decks, and if a monster is sent to the graveyard, you're able to revive it to your field. We'll play one Vampire Sucker. This will be part of your end board in some cases. Whenever you bring back a zombie monster, you're able to draw a card. Also, you can tribute your opponent's zombie monsters for your vampires, so that's really nice. Keep in mind the draw effect isn't going to come up if you use Prosperity in the same turn. We're playing one Vampire Fascinator. This card is able to steal an opponent's monster from the graveyard, and you're also able to tribute a vampire monster you control to steal one of your opponent's monsters. So it's a good way to clear your opponent's boards and then continue to link climb. And then for generic link monsters, we are playing one Link Karibo, one Nightmare Unicorn for the spin, one Appaloosa Bow the Goddess. 90% of the time, you're going to be ending your first turn board on this and Beatrice. So that'll be really nice. And then last but not least, we play one Underworld Goddess and one Dark to Dark Charmer. The reason why I'm playing Underworld Goddess over an OTK enabler like Access Code or Boral Sword is because we're going to be stealing their monsters quite a bit and swarming. So I didn't feel the need to play an OTK enabler. If our opponent has a problematic monster we can't get over, we're able to link it away with our own monsters to clear their boards. And also, this could shut down activated effects and negate special summons from their graveyard. Getting into the 2-card combo, ideally you want to open with Vampire Ghost in either your Retainer or Familiar. For this example, we're just going to be opening with Familiar, and then hopefully you get the general idea of how this deck works. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to normal summon Vampire Ghost. This will allow us to send Retainer to the graveyard and add Vampire Grace to our hand. We're going to activate Vampire Retainer's effect. We're going to be able to special summon this by sending Vampire Familiar to our graveyard. And then we can pay 500 life points to add Vampire Domain to our hand. Keep in mind, if you already have Domain in your opening hand, you're going to be wanting to search for your Domination for the Solemn Judgment effect. But anyways, we're going to activate Familiar's effect. We're going to bring it back from the graveyard by sending Grace. And then we're going to pay 500 to add Shadow Vampire to our hand. Next, what we're going to be doing is we're going to link summoning. Keep in mind these are both banished when they leave the field. We're going to link summon into Vampire Sucker. We are going to activate Vampire Domain. We're going to pay 500 to tribute for Shadow Vampire. Shadow Vampire's effect will activate, allowing us to summon Scarlet Scourge. Chainlink 1 Scourge, 2 Grace. We're going to pay 2,000 life points to bring back Grace. And then Scarlet Scourge is going to be able to bring back Ghost. Vampire Sucker's effect will activate, allowing us to draw a card. Next, we're going to be link summoning for Appaloosa, Bow the Goddess. This is just a 3 effect monster negate. We are then going to Xyz summon for Beatrice, and then we're going to detach material. Ideally, you want to detach Grace because it can revive itself from the graveyard. And we're going to be able to send Necroworld Banshee to the graveyard. We're going to banish the Necroworld Banshee to activate Zombie World from our deck. Then during our opponent's standby phase, we're going to be able to detach a material to send Doom King to our graveyard. And because it's our opponent's standby phase and we have Zombie World on the field, we're able to special summon it. So that's it for today's deck profile. I hope you really enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to give the video a like, leave a comment down below. As always, I enjoy interacting with you, and please consider subscribing for more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh content. Be sure to hit the notification bell for when I go live or upload, and until next time, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.